Hey guys, and warm welcome back to the channel. My name is Grace if you're new here, and today we are going to be talking about artist trading cards, or as I will sometimes refer to them as ATCs. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I would love to know what you think down in the comment section below, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Artist trading cards are something I have been wanting to do on the channel for a little while now. Even back in December, I asked my sister-in-law to make a few for me so that we could swap, and I've been kind of trying to encourage my other artist buddies here in Okinawa to do the same. I'm really hoping to get together a nice little collection before we get back to the States. But I thought what I would do is a video on exactly what they are and how to make them and why you should, and that's what we're going to do today. So what is an artist trading card? It is basically a miniature card, usually 2.5 by 3.5 inches, which is the standard baseball or other playing card game size, and you trade it with other artists. So the coolest part about ATCs is that they are free. You're supposed to just trade them with your other artist friends, or maybe at least for me, I'm going to see if any of my customers or any of the kids that love my art here on base want to make some of their own to swap with me, because I think that would be really cute and a great way to add to my book. Kids are super creative, and I think that would just be a great thing to see. But you're supposed to take these as ways to engage with the other people that are doing the same kinds of things that you're doing, and offering a way to just interact with each other, and essentially, besides just being able to get your credentials and stuff out there, your social media handles and all of that, just, spend time in the community and really kind of get to know each other. That's one of the greatest parts about ATCs. So a brief history of ATCs. They were actually first conceptualized by a Swiss artist. His name was 𝑓𝍊𝑋𝍊𝍊𝍋𝍼 in 1997. He was inspired by sports trading cards, kind of the reason that they are the same size and everything, and he wanted to make a similar collectible experience for art and artists. He organized his first ATC swap in Zurich, and the idea just kind of quickly came over, and everybody really loved it. So the other cool thing is that he's actually still alive today, and here are some examples of his artwork. There are lots of places today that you can swap ATCs. I know when I was in 8th grade, the first time I ever went to a Comic-Con, they were a pretty big deal. That it was a lot more normal, I guess, to see them. I don't see them as much anymore, and I'm not just saying that because I'm in Okinawa, but even in the States before we got out here, it just wasn't something very common. So I'm hoping when I get back to the States, it can be something that I do for myself. And one of the ways that you can find those outside of your regular conventions and your artist alleys and stuff is to go online. So I put a couple in the description box below. There are a few websites I'm going to try when I get back to the States, and I would do it here, but I'm just not going to bother with my post office. If you guys know, you know. But I think they do themed stuff, and every now and then you have to include certain aspects to your swaps, and you can mail stuff in and then they mail stuff back. It's really cool, and I think that I would love to give that a go. So why make ATCs in the first place? There are a few good reasons for ATCs. I really think besides the being able to, kind of unleash your creativity, since they're small and low pressure, stuff that we've already talked about before, we did touch briefly also on the community building aspect of it. I really think that it just helps you meet other artists. You get inspired by seeing their stuff. You can also get collaborative with it and find artists that want to do things with you, and swap specific kind of styles so that you can, try new mediums and things like that. You also get to build a collection of miniature artworks, and who wouldn't want to do that, especially since, they're free. I also really love artist trading cards because who doesn't love a good aesthetic or a theme that they could practice with, or, if you're really looking to curate pieces and find ways to broaden your horizons in that level, I think that's the perfect way to do something small. My friend Rita and I are here swapping our own cards because, we've known each other for a few years now, and sure, we've bought each other's artwork, but this was just a really fun exercise for us to do together and then get to pick things that we loved of each other's work and just talk about the process and everything. And I'm hoping she continues to also want to make cards and help me get some other people to do it while we're here. Making artist trading cards is also a way to really get out of those creative blocks. They're a nice and small piece of paper. You don't have to work too hard about being too worried about being in like a huge white canvas situation where you can't come up with anything at all. You can throw stuff down on these, do doodles, use pen and ink, use whatever you want to just kind of let those creative juices flow and, enjoy time doing art that has very little pressure on it. So how do we make ATCs? So first you're going to need some supplies, obviously. The most important part, in my opinion, is the 2.5 by 3.5 card. You want something sturdy. I usually use any kind of like leftover watercolor scraps. I also love mixed media boards. You could use little thin pieces of construction paper or cardboard glued to something that is a little bit more sturdy. It's really however you want to, as long as it's kind of coming out like a playing card. That's the whole idea. You're also going to want any of your drawing or just any kind of materials that you want to use on your cards. Some people do their artist trading cards as photography if they are photographers, and that makes complete sense. I personally like to just bust out all of the mediums that I don't typically use. Most of the time I'm a watercolor artist, but I love using my Copic markers. I have color pencils and pastels, and sometimes just doodling pen and ink stuff is a lot of fun. Colored pencils, you name it, it's free reign. You get to use whatever you want to. You're also going to need your typical glue and scissors. I actually specifically like to use the Elmer's runner tape whenever I'm doing ephemera pieces because I like how thin and non-messy the running tape is. Any kind of double-sided tape, stuff like that. Obviously, you're going to want a pair of scissors to cut your papers down. You can also use like the nice guillotine ones to do multiple pieces at a time if you're using full-size sheets of paper. And then I also like to add stuff like stickers and washi tape and any other kind of elements that might, really just add to the experience of it for myself, but obviously also look really great when you're swapping with other artists. So here's a little step-by-step guide. Start to finish. You're going to want to cut down any of the paper that you're using for these cards. If you're printing them out, obviously cut them down to the 2.5 by 3.5 that they have been made to be. If you're cutting your own paper to then paint and or decorate, again, you want that 2.5 by 3.5 card cut out. I like to use all of my scrap papers because it's a way to, not waste and get some of that stuff out of my way. The next thing that you're going to want to do is obviously draw or paint or decorate these ATCs. It's really imperative also as part of the trading portion of things to have a backing card. If you don't have a backing card, you can write it out on the card itself, especially if it's white and it's easy to read. If not, though, I have made these cards and you can purchase them through my Etsy for about $2, and that link is going to be listed down below. The other thing you want to make sure you're doing is protecting your cards in the meantime. So if you have a book and you want to protect them in there and let people flip through your book, that's a great way to do it. You could also go ahead and buy playing card sleeves. I really love these holographic ones and these, I think they're called cut crystal or crystal hollow, I'm not really sure, but they make your artworks just pop, especially if you're just handing them over or have just a couple on you at a time instead of an entire book. So let's talk storage. I don't know about you guys, but I love to organize. One of my favorite reasons for collecting in the first place is because I love to organize those things. So if you know anything about me at all, I am a binder girly. I love a binder. I have a binder for everything. I have a binder for my pets. I have a binder for my house. I have a binder for my Taylor Swift stuff. So if it can go in a binder, I'm probably gonna put it in one. One of my favorite things about this though is that you can completely make the sheets all your own. You can buy those little sleeves that you have for the like Pokemon cards and your Magic the Gathering cards, or you can have those like scrapbook pages where you can stick them down and cover them with the plastic. There are so many options that you can do with a 3-ring binder, and I just think that they are the best way to store your stuff. You could also though go the box route. These are nice because they're going to keep all of your corners protected. Even though the binder will do that as well, you're going to have this is just a lot more sturdy. Nothing's going to fall out. Usually they have like those extra good clips on them to keep them nice and secure. My one thing about a box though, even though you can decorate them and label them and all of that, you still have to rifle through them or pull them all out to go through them, and the binder just has them all laid out perfectly. You don't have to worry about that. On the same thing with a box that is made for cards, you could also just find like a random tin or, you know, a nice little wooden box. This one happens to be a great size to lay them down in here flat. But again, just like the other box, you're gonna have to kind of rifle through them to see them. But maybe for some people, that's half the fun. And that's it for artist trading cards. They're just a really simple, fun way to connect with other artists and your fans and your customers. And I really hope you guys take the time to make some for yourself and start swapping with all of your friends and your artist buddies. And I would love to swap with some of you guys. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, go ahead and send me a private message and we can maybe swap PO boxes and things like that if anybody is interested. I would put it on YouTube, but for various reasons, we're not going to get into that. But make sure you guys leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. We're growing every day and it's great. And I will see you all next Thursday. Bye guys.